from day one, you guys have been a truly committed partner, not only on the capital side. I mean, getting investment from you guys, I wouldn't say it was easy, but the process, once you decided you wanted to invest in us, was easy. Like, you were quite fast. And that's very remarkable, since when you're in pre-seed, seed stage, all what you need is speed and commitment. And you guys definitely don't lack that. So I think it was very valuable. And then what you always worry about with investors is, okay, once they give me money, what's this going to be like? Are they going to be all over me? Are they going to be asking for a bunch of things? Are they going to give me extra work? And I think HTwenty does it quite remarkably. You guys are easy to work with. You don't ask for a bunch of information, a bunch of extra work. I think it's valuable catch-ups that we do quite frequently, and when your sole intention is to add value, like to give ideas, to tell us, hey, how can we help out? So I think you've been like a true partner, committed to our growth and success through both good times and tough times. I know in startups you do have very tough times, and you've consistently been there offering support, expertise, real value. I think one thing you have in your team, Danny, and that you've built really well, is that your team truly understands our business, what we do. You do get the intricacies of our business model, and you get to add value on that. So giving real value, whether it's talent or how to drive business development, how to counter churn, how to think about product. So I think you're well equipped in your team to give us valuable input on how to move forward and how to drive the business forward. I think it genuinely feels like you guys are a partner every step of the way. At first, it was a fast pace. Hey, let's get customers. Let's get this to grow. At this stage is, okay, how do we get this business to be profitable, to give positive cash flow, so that we can get our numbers right and then be attractive and appealing to the market. And I think you've done tremendously well accompanying us through all the steps of the journey.
Juli, it's been so rewarding to be part of Ontop, and we've grown so much as a team, as investors, as operators. When we invested in Ontop, I believe it was in August of 2020, before you guys joined Y Combinator, I remember. And back then I was maybe 26, 27 years old. HTwenty was just getting started, and Ontop was just getting started. So I think the angles of both companies, just discovering what they're good at, and how to grow, and how to nurture that team, and how to bring the best resources, was really magical. And transitioning over the past 5 years to where Ontop began, where Ontop is now, where HTwenty began, and where HTwenty is now, it's been accelerating to be part of that journey. And going back to the story, as you mentioned, there's been so many phases of the business, and obviously the market, as we know, has gotten more competitive, and there's really dominant players, but Ontop has always found a way to stay on top and to innovate, and ultimately in HTwenty, what we've tried to do is help you guys across those journeys, or those different chapters, and each chapter presents different requirements. Sometimes it's supporting commercially, sometimes it's supporting more at a personal level of the founder, where the founder might be passing through a tough personal situation and need support, and then also thinking about the future. So I mean, I'm really excited for what is to come with Ontop, and the plan that we have ahead, and hopefully in this next chapter you're gonna have as much support as possible from those early investors that at time could add, in my opinion, more value than the later stage larger investors. And I'm really excited to find ways and angles for us to support commercially, and even an off the beaten path, less obvious let's say, customers that could, become important catalysts for the continued growth of the business.
Yeah, and what you're saying is actually very true. And one of the coolest things about HTwenty and about you guys is we've actually become quite close. It's not just about an investment, but it's actually supporting and emotionally supporting the founder through the journey, which in my case has not been easy. I've been very vocal about this, but I've been battling anxiety, stress, and all this kind of mental health struggles uh, quite intensely in my journey as an entrepreneur. And I remember Danny going in as far as inviting me to do cold plunge because cold plunge is proven to combat stress and anxiety. And we did. We went to Miami to a cold plunge place and did it. And then I've been playing paddle with Mauricio. So it's quite cool because you have that combination of investors that are knowledgeable in their field, but also kind of friendship and support through the journey. There's so many funds out there that just put money in and then disappear and ask ridiculous things of you. But I think that hasn't been the case. And another thing that I would like to mention is your vast and strong network, both in the US and Latin America. When you guys invested in us, that sort of became like a magnet, and more investment followed, more money and more credibility. So you guys actually have done a tremendous job about building your network and credibility in the market, and then just connecting us with relevant players in the ecosystem. I think the events you've done in Miami, or they have like very good, like a remarkable attendance rate, very interesting people there, and it's easy to make connections that way. So I'm pretty happy with this relationship. Danny, I always recommend HTwenty as an investor. I'm always throwing new startups at you guys, opportunities, because I think the ecosystem needs more investors like you guys. It's pretty cool what you've been doing.
I love the cold plunge story. So I read your Forbes article. Maybe this was back in early mid 2021, and I actually got into the whole cold plunge and meditation through Julian, and that has allowed me, in my opinion, to be a much more focused and centered investor and an operator. So yeah, I had totally forgotten about that chapter. And talking about what is to come, Juli, I guess what excites you the most regarding the product roadmap, and in general regarding Ontop, and how can we find ways to continue supporting you guys? What are your biggest challenges right now, moving along, whatever you can share, in a
Yeah, for
open
sure.
manner.
Like organically, our business has developed a very strong presence in Latin America in the case of the remote workers being hired to the platform. So actually, one of the things that has us more excited is the whole thing about financial services around remote workers. We've launched a US dollar account for remote workers that has done tremendously well. Like millions and millions of dollars are deposited there every month, and people use it as their account to keep their paycheck and to spend it from there. I think one of the most exciting things in our roadmap this year is the whole financial services ecosystem built around that for remote workers. And since you have such a tremendous influence in the LATAM ecosystem and are so involved, that you will be a key piece in that expansion and fueling that growth. I think through events, through connections with founders, I'm excited to keep partnering with you guys and building the future of global payments together. But I think in the end, what excites me the most, and you've said it multiple times, the best investments are about people, vision, and execution. And I think that's pretty cool to keep building the relationship, seeing the business grow and mature, and seeing eventually what's out there for us, even if it's an IPO or an exit, a successful exit. I think that's part of the exciting journey, because that's part of why we build these type of businesses and get investment and everything, is to build something people want and then have that vision fulfilled and become part of a greater good. So I'm excited about this part of the journey where we're already profitable, we're making money, we don't need to raise more money, and we're growing sort of on our own terms, to see where it takes us now that we can provide real value to remote workers in Latin America.
Solid fundamentals there, and not having to depend on the markets for fundraising, and being able to grow organically, and as you guys always find, innovative ways, cost effective ways to acquire customers. So that's amazing. And I would say another topic or question that I had for you that is a bit off topic on Ontop, or even HTwenty. How are you seeing the Miami ecosystem in general?
Yeah, for sure. So it's sort of these kind of things usually follow cycles, and we had a very big hype 2021, like 2020, 2021, 2022, and then it cooled off a little bit, but I think it's starting to come up again. So naturally, as the VC ecosystem saw like a slowdown or a cool down during the last 2 years, well, things sort of like cooled down a bit, but now what I've been noticing is things starting to heat up again. More events, more startups, investors coming into town. And I think that is only going to get better, as I'm really optimistic, by the way, about the US economy in the next couple of months. So I think this will have a tendency to ramp up. And there is a very, very cool opportunity to keep developing that ecosystem, because it's still very new. And we get to be the first ones in. We're part of Endeavor, and Endeavor also plays a huge role here. And you guys are pretty active too. So I think this is our opportunity to keep on building that community through events, connections, and whatever. I'm just throwing out ideas here. Entrepreneur retreats, which is also the kind of new trend here that I've seen works very well. There's lots of things to do. So I'm pretty excited about the future. I'm bullish about what's coming in the market, and very excited to see what role you're going to play in that expansion of the ecosystem.
I'm really excited, and I agree. Miami, what's happening is there to stay. 2021, 2022, big, let's say, boom and hype because of COVID and remote work and all of the benefits that Florida and particularly Miami offer. Moving along, I'm seeing great entrepreneurial talent in the city. Large companies, large outcomes being built out of Miami. Of course, not to the levels of San Francisco, and particularly right now, but I do think that Miami is here to stay for the long run, and it's a, let's say, sustainable growth story, and it's part of Ontop's DNA, and it's part of HTwenty's DNA. So Miami, beyond tech, it offers logistics, hospitality, and other industries that I believe for Ontop will become really relevant, and that we should continue exploiting.
For sure. Plus, I think, and this is my personal view, I hope it doesn't cause a lot of controversy, Miami could well be the capital of Latin America. So it's the perfect doorway to that market that usually people underestimate. Latin America has, I don't know, a third of the population of India, for instance, or a third or fourth, I don't know, but has a GDP of $6.1 trillion. So it's about the same size. So it's incredible. There's a lot of opportunity here with a lot less population. So you can have more concentrated tech products and easier adoption, if you will, and people are adopting technology at a faster rate. And definitely that doorway between the US and Latin America is much needed. And I think Miami is the place where that will happen organically.
I agree. I completely agree. It's really a melting pot of culture and innovation and even industrial in a sense, because of the hospitality, the logistics, the cruise ship operations, and the other industries. So yeah, let's see what is in store.
Let's keep building the future together. I'm excited to see where this is going to take us, and thank you for everything. It has been quite a journey,